the process that we've used to develop the plan to this point has two main characteristics. One is that we've involved a lot of stakeholders from the business and community and civic leaders in the process. It's really important if we're all going to get behind the plan and deliver it, that everybody, that it includes all their ideas and actually is something that they really believe in. And also very importantly is that we've got cross-party political support to this draft plan, so that if the administration were to change, that the plan can remain in place. The regeneration of a town is a long-term process, and we need something that gives us certainty and continuity over a 10 or 15-year time horizon.
So what about the feedback you get? How flexible are your plans?
Well, they are flexible. It's very much a framework, so we're very keen to hear people's views on it. There has been a lot of involvement from businesses, from the community groups already in shaping what we're putting out to people. So it's already got quite a lot of that support there. We now want to hear from the general public who haven't had a chance to see the plans to date.
Now, you talk about in the plan about the perception of Swindon changing. How do you think you can achieve that through these plans?
Yeah, so one of the challenges that we have in Swindon is to change and improve that external perception of the town. I think there are a number of ways that we need to do that, and some of which the plan really help us with. One thing is that we need to better promote the town and everything that is already going on in here and that people don't know about, and actually that's an easy way to change the perception. But more fundamentally, there are some of the architecture and some of the way that the town works physically at the moment does create a poor impression to the outside world, and those are some of the things that we want to fix. Some of them are being dealt with already through the station forecourt, for example, which is one of the main entrances to the town, but the plan gives us a very clear path to how we can improve the physical aspects of the town. Also bringing things like a new theatre and developing a new art gallery with really high quality design buildings that will actually change the perception of what's here on offer in Swindon.
Now, of course, Swindon is known for the road network, for the magic roundabout, but also the one-way system, and I see there's an idea to really reshape that.
Yeah, we think actually reshaping some of the road network around the town is really important, because what it does at the moment is it cuts off the central area from the surrounding areas and makes it very difficult for people and pedestrians particularly to get into and out of the central area. So if you look at the moment at the entrance points to the main central retail area, they're actually not very welcoming. There's the tunnel underneath the Brunel West car park, there's the tunnel underneath Fleming Way, and there's a bridge over Princess Street. They're not really very welcoming routes into the town centre, so we want to address that. We still want cars to be able to move around the town freely and to get into the town. That's still really important, but we want to restrike the balance more in favour of the pedestrian.
Now, there are always going to be sceptics to every plan. How do you intend to really maybe overcome some of the objections that people are going to come up with? For example, the disruption that is inevitably going to happen during this period.
Well, I think we've tried to make the point that this is a long-term plan. This is a vision for the next 10 or 15 years. So not all of the proposals that are contained in the plan will be happening straight away. In fact, many might take many years to come. So it'll be a process of incremental change. It won't result in huge disruption all at once. But I think we have to accept that if we want to improve the town and start delivering more of the sorts of projects that we're now seeing, like Regent Circus and Union Square, yeah, that is going to result in some disruption, but we need to deal with that as painlessly as we can and actually then be proud of what's put back in its place.
And what about looking at Swindon as a whole, as a town? You've talked about improving the image, but how do you see the life of Swindonians changing?
Well, the town centre serves the whole of Swindon. It isn't just the people that live and work in the town centre. Of course, many people do. But the town centre provides shops, it provides restaurants, it provides a town. And it's really important that the place that people come to in the centre is of a high quality. They can come and enjoy that space, that they can come to a high quality theatre and spend their leisure time. So I think in terms of what this will do for the people of Swindon, it's immeasurable really, it's enormous. It would really raise the spirits and make people want to come into the town centre much more and enjoy the place. And I think very importantly, be very proud of the centre of the town.
Now, people are always very aware of costs, especially in the economic times we find ourselves in at the moment. People will be inevitably worried about this being added on to their council tax bill.
The cost of a lot of the proposals in here, we don't know for sure where all the resources will come from. We want to have a clear plan so that we can go bidding to government for additional funding. The council has some resources that come to it via the planning system and so on. So we don't anticipate that this is going to put anything on the council tax. The council has resources in a capital programme. This is about actually being much sharper with our priorities, about how we do spend the resources that are available, making very clear choices about what the things that are most important to help shape the town, and spending those resources more wisely.
Now, you talked about attracting more people into Swindon, which of course is always great, but for the people who actually live here and utilise all the various services, from public services to cycling to walking and things. We talked about the cars. What about the public services?
Well, I think that's at very heart of the plan is the delivery of those services and actually making this an attractive place for people to want to come and to receive those services. So whether they are visiting the library here or whether they're coming to use the shops or other public services, we want people to have a pleasant experience, and we want them to then come, use those services, but perhaps stay and shop and go to the theatre or the restaurant. So if the town centre is a much more pleasant place to be, people will come and use it much more, and that's what we're really after.
Now, I've noticed on the plans you're looking at retaining some of the older buildings, and certainly the really important buildings to the heritage of the town, such as the railway buildings and the institute and so on. How are you going to manage to make that work with the requirements of modern living and modern working?
What the plan really is saying is that some of the best architectural quality in the town are some of those historic buildings, places like the Mechanics Institute and the railway heritage that we have. And actually it's really important for a whole range of reasons to hang on to those quality buildings. And it's done all the time where those historic buildings are brought back into modern use with good quality architecture, creative thinking, and it is about finding the right use for that building to make absolutely best use of it, and in a way that is very sustainable, so that it is a use that can continue there for some time. So this is done all over the place. It's not a unique problem, and actually you often find that people, if you refurbish an existing historic building correctly, they become really the most desirable types of property that people want to occupy and live in or work in.
And finally, I think, again, really coming back to the very first point, this probably the most important thing people think is this really going to happen? And you talked about the cross-party support. How confident are you of the commitment from all the political parties when that balance maybe changes in the future?
I'm absolutely confident of that. We have spent a lot of time with members talking about the plan and getting their views on it, and we have got to a point which is absolutely important, that there is an agreement behind the plan. And I think perhaps more importantly is there's an absolute commitment from all of the politicians that the regeneration of the town centre is a top priority, and we've now got that buy-in, and it's important that it stays there. One of the main things that the plan does is provide confidence and certainty to private investors. The majority of what you see in the plan will actually be delivered by the private sector, and the private sector will only invest if they can see that this plan has strong support in the town and that it's going to stay consistent over a period of time. So I'm really confident of that. I'm really pleased with where we are, but absolutely understand that the public may be sceptical about the ability to deliver it. But one thing is sure, if we don't have a plan, we won't deliver the regeneration of the town. With the plan, we've got to stay focused and committed to it. We've got to be prioritising the things that are really important, and then we've got to get on and do it. And Forward Swindon is here to help make sure that happens.